when it really became apparent to me how radically different things were for us as presenters was when I started to assess the differences in the generations in terms of how they hear our messaging. Because at any given time, on any given day, each and every person in this room may have to deliver a message to somebody from the greatest generation, or what's also called the traditionalists, from the baby boomer generation, from my generation, which is Gen X, and then, of course, there's also the millennials. Now, when I really understood how vastly different it was going to be for us to present to each of these generations was when I went to a concert. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to go to what's called the Irvine Meadows Verizon Wireless Amphitheater, where they were bringing in Wango Tango. Now, Wango Tango is a multi-band concert event where you have C-level bands in the morning, B-level bands in the afternoon, and A-level bands in the evening. So my boyfriend at the time had a really good friend who was the manager of a band called the All-American Rejects, and the Rejects are kind of like a C-level band. And the A-level bands in the evening were going to be Kelly Clarkson and the Black Eyed Peas. So he said, hey, Tara, why don't we go out to this concert? We'll go see the Rejects, we'll hang out for the afternoon, and then in the evening, we'll just be able to see Kelly Clarkson and the Black Eyed Peas. I'm like, that sounds great. So we get to the concert, and when you go to these kinds of multi-band concerts, there's a village area where everybody kind of gets together, and they're talking about the bands and who they're here to see, and you could really sense that the kids were really there to see one performer in particular, and it wasn't Kelly Clarkson, and it wasn't the Black Eyed Peas. Now, at this particular occasion, we could hear this rumbling, and this particular performer at the time only had one big hit. It was called Poker Face, and her name is Lady Gaga. So we could just hear the rumbling, Lady Gaga, Lady Gaga. And I was thinking to myself, really? Now remember, I'm a Gen Xer, so we're a bit skeptical. She only has one big hit out at this point, and I'm thinking she could be like the Knack in My Sharona, right? So as each of the bands were sitting down, the kids couldn't wait. They just start chanting, Gaga, Gaga. So finally the moment arrives. The stage shifts. It pushes out. She comes out, and there's this very elaborate staging. And I'm looking at the stage, and I'm thinking, again, I'm old school. Oh, it reminds me of Queen. Remember Queen? Right? Very elaborate staging. So she comes out, and she has a very strong a cappella voice. And on spot, the kids start singing with her. Now, two big screens come down, big elaborate staging. She starts singing. They're singing with her, but now she starts dancing. And they're dancing. They know all the moves. They are dancing with her. And they're singing and they're dancing, but now there's these text messages that are going across the screen. She's texting them, and they're interactive text messages, which means that you can interact and respond. So they're texting, and they're dancing, and they're singing, and they're spinning. And I'm watching all of this, and I'm thinking, oh, dear Lord, how will we ever sell them using PowerPoint?